welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live from a news about Desawe Kanda, also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. I am Alfred Ocansey. This evening here on Hot Edition, National Executive Council of the new Patriotic Party sets up a committee to implement recommendations by the Professor Michael Quay-led committee, which was tasked to probe the 2024 electoral loss. Out of that, we're learning right now that Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe, the running mate to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in the 2024 elections for the MPP, says he's not running for president in 2028 elections. So that's one that we're going to be zooming into here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. That's Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe. He says he has no presidential ambitions for the year 2028 presidential elections. Stay with us. Is it one that will change along the way, that he was going to change his mind to contest the flag bearership? Or hear from some analysts who have been studying his political behavior over the period. The minority in Parliament have also raised grave concerns over what they say is an attempt to suspend and subsequently remove the Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo from office over what was termed as frivolous petitions. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has for the second time adjourned the injunction application seeking to halt the impeachment proceedings against the Chief Justice. Stay with us. We've got details for you here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. And Dominic Ayeni, the Attorney General, has also responded to Godfrey Yeboah-Dame, indicating that the President, John Mahama, is only performing his constitutional duty in the suit against the Chief Justice's removal. So stay with us. Also, Western Regional Police Command intervenes in the impasse involving some irate NDC youth who locked up the National Service officers in the regional capital in protest against the appointment of the regional director, Daniel Dawusu. And President Mahama launches government's ambitious 1 million coders program. We'll tell you more on this and the latest in business and sports over the next 1 hour, 30 minutes here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Settle for a summary of the news now. And Yonam Haliga is here.
In today's summaries, President John Mahama has launched the 1 Million Coders Program, a national digital skills initiative aimed at training 1 million Ghanaians over the next 4 years in coding, cybersecurity, data analytics, and related fields. He described the initiative as a core part of his government Reset Ghana agenda, intended to prepare the country for a more competitive role in the global digital economy. The e-waste fund set up by government to receive the advanced recycling levies as the eco levy on imported vehicles and electrical items has secured over 60 million Ghana cedis. Currently, the fund is being disbursed to help in the management of electrical and electronic waste, as mandated by the Environmental Protection Authority. The Minority Caucus in Parliament has called for the immediate increase of the cocoa producer price from 3,000 Ghana cedis to 6,000 Ghana cedis per 64 kilogram bag, in line with the promises made to Ghanaians. They warn that the failure to act swiftly could result in economic sabotage, cross-border smuggling, and a betrayal to Ghana's hard-working cocoa farmers. And before I go, the Supreme Court has once again adjourned an injunction application seeking to halt the process that could lead to the impeachment of the Chief Justice, Gertrude Torkornoo. When the case was called today, instead of 5 justices of the Apex Court were supposed to hear the case, only 4 appeared. That's it for the summary, Alfred.
And thank you. This morning news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale. We're on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Let's get into the details of the stories now. In a meeting of the new Patriotic Party Executive Committee and also the National Council is currently underway in the national capital. Key on the agenda is a presentation of the report by Professor Aaron Michael Quay's committee, which was tasked with investigating the party's loss in the 2024 elections. We understand that report has been indeed submitted to the National Council of the MPP already just minutes ago. In January this year, the opposition party formed a 12-member committee to probe its defeat in both the presidential and parliamentary elections. This followed its poor performance in the December polls, where its majority in the legislature dropped from 138 seats to 88, now referred to in political circles as the superminority. And in the presidential election, the party's presidential candidate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, secured 41% of the valid votes cast, while John Mahama of the NDC, now president, won elections with 56%. The Professor Okoye committee, giving 3 months to complete its work, was mandated to 1. Evaluate the party's internal elections, 2. Assess campaign strategies, and also identify the challenges that led to the electoral defeat. It is also expected to propose actionable solutions for future elections. Moments before the commencement of the meeting, Professor Aaron Michael Quay had this to say to the media who thronged the venue for this meeting. That's the Alisa Hotel here in Accra.
Right, Honorable, would you like to share with us the outcome of that report?
As the secretary.
You were the chairman of that 12-member committee.
Secretary General of the party.
So you have officially handed it over to them, the report? Have you officially handed over the report to them?
No comments, no more.
Okay.
That's Professor Michael Quay says no comments. Now, let's cross over to the Alisa Hotel, where my colleague, Noble Crosby Annan, has been monitoring this particular meeting and the submission of the report and the details of it being discussed by the National Council of the party at the preliminary stage as we speak right now. Noble, appreciate you. Now, you interacted with a number of them, including Professor Michael Quay. Who are some of the notable persons who are at this meeting?
Hi, Alfred. If you can hear me, this meeting is hosting or is having all the top brass of the NPP inside. I'm talking about executives of the party, including former ministers, current members of parliament, some of them. President Akrofi Ocansey, he has been there since around midday. The former vice president, talking about the 2024 flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Bawumia, is also inside. There's also the minority leader, Alfred Akrofi Ocansey, the chief of staff, former chief of staff is there. So all the top brass of the NPP, the team that makes up the National Executive Committee of the NPP and the National Council of the NPP, they are all in this meeting. And like you rightly mentioned, Alfred, in January 2025, we know that the NPP formed a committee, and that's chaired by the former Speaker of Parliament, Michael Quay, to analyze the party's law for the 2024 elections. The committee was also tasked with reviewing the causes of the defeat and proposing actionable solutions for future elections. Well, already, even before the committee completed the work, it was facing some stiff criticism from within the party itself. Case in point is the mention of former Dom Cabinet Member of Parliament, Sarah Joasaf. In fact, she in a media interview, described the work of the committee as bogus and the committee lacks credibility, suggesting that the committee was formed to push a specific agenda rather than, to conduct an impartial investigation. Well, she's not the only one. Additionally, there are some political analysts, for instance, Dr. Kuti Amachibuating, also criticized the committee for breaching the NPP's constitution. He argues that the committee did not adhere to the party's established procedures. Now, this is it. The committee's report was initially expected by March 31 this year, but it was delayed. And although it was delayed, preliminary findings reportedly attribute the party's defeat to leadership issues and President Akrofi, who is in this meeting happening right now, among, of course, other factors as well. Well, despite the NPP plan its rebuilding efforts in preparation for the 2028 election. So, if you like, you can say that this meeting is about the future of the NPP, the 2028 election happening. And already there are concerns about cracks or great challenges, divisions within the NPP. So this meeting will seek to hopefully resolve almost all of them, or provide a roadmap for the resolving of issues that have come up after the 2024 election. So far, like I mentioned, the former president is here, the former vice president is here. They've all declined to comment to the media, personally comments before they enter the meeting. The meeting has not ended. It was advertised to start around 10, but when we got here, the meeting was underway, and so far, the meeting is still in progress. But the expectation is that the meeting may come to an end shortly, and hopefully we'll get a briefing from some party executives of the NPP on what went on during the meeting and any other significant issues that we want to raise with them.
I see. I know that you, together with other media persons there, spoke to Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe as well. And there's been that report that he indicated quite clearly that he does not intend to contest for the flag bearership of the NPP ahead of the 2028 elections. Tell us a bit more about that.
Right, exactly. So, you know that after Dr. Poku Prempe, he has also been in the news since this committee was formed. In fact, a research team at the Tamil University of Science and Technology attributed the defeat of the NPP, the overwhelming defeat of the NPP, to the pairing of Dr. Poku Prempe with Dr. Baumia. So when he was here today, we took the opportunity to ask him about the happenings within the party, and he's saying that he will, whatever the committee will recommend, every member of the party should go by, and that's a clear indication of your commitment to the party. If you do not adhere to the suggestions or the recommendations of the party at the end of this meeting, it means you really do not want to belong to the party. When he was asked about his plunge, he insisted that what he's concerned about is to unite the parties, the unity of the party moving forward, and he does not have any intention of contesting the 2028 elections. So I said he has no interest, but what he's concerned right now is the united party going forward.
I see. And but how about Dr. Mahmoud Bamia himself? Did he speak to the media when he got in there? And if he did, what did he say?
Dr. Bamia has not spoken yet. Maybe he will speak after the meeting, but that we do not know. We're taking indications that the General Secretary of the party will interact with the media after the meeting. There's no indication that Dr. Bamia will speak, but of course, we'll certainly try, give it a shot, and hopefully hear from Dr. Bamia, because he took the NPP to battle in 2024 and they lost. So he's a major stakeholder in this meeting that the party is having to provide a roadmap for the 2028 elections, as well as identifying what went wrong in the 2024 elections.
Appreciate it for you, this update. Thank you so much. Noble Crosby Annan is at the Alisa Hotel where this NPP National Council meeting is taking place. We understand the report by the Professor Michael Quay-led committee has been submitted to the National Council, and they are currently also studying the details of it at the preliminary stage, and then whatever the actions beyond today will certainly get to know. But one person who's been very clear on his proposals on what the way forward should be for the NPP is Dr. Makoba. He is a political analyst, member of the NU Patriotic Party, joining us right now. Dr. Makoba, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
First off, I mean, the committee, the Professor Michael Quay-led committee, has finished its 3 months' work, engaging to understand what exactly led to the party's defeat. A good exercise in its sense, you would say?
Well, it's a necessary exercise. Whether it's good or not, it depends on what it comes out. You see, this is also at the same time, and this investigation is at the same time an opportunity to put your best foot forward. There are people in the hinterlands who think that the central people in the party don't listen to them. So you take this opportunity to prove them wrong. If you go around, for example, the concentration should be in the Ashanti region because this is where the apathy was highest. If you don't appoint one person to find out, you can appoint that person and he should get maybe 10. And then you divide the whole region up and you go around talking to people. That alone makes a lot of difference because the person in the hinterland who feels disaffected is now going to see that they have come to talk to me, that I am important to them. So you are finding things out, and at the same time you are campaigning for them to come back. And they are easily to be pushed to come back when you do that. If you don't sit in Accra and just write a report that this is what happened. This is what we are doing. And we don't know what happened really. Well, we'll wait and see what they say.
Well,
you can come up with generic ideas, which anybody can. And I won't be surprised if most of what we get is like that. You see, I won't be surprised at all. Because if go to the hinterland, Ashanti region is where the problem is, not Accra. And why do you sit in Accra and appoint an old man in Accra to do this thing? Why? Well, only for him to also appoint someone else? No. I don't understand it.
Well, I recall that there was a similar excess in the Ashanti region where the former Swami majority leader Oseche Mensah Bonsu was the one who led the process as well in the Ashanti region. They engaged, and some recommendations were made in that stead.
Well, yes, it is a lot better if it's the local people who are doing it than outsiders far away, you see. And so, as I said, you are investigating, but at the same time, you are trying to get them to feel that they are important to the party. That is very critical. So when everything is said and done, those people are easier to be brought back to the fold, so to speak. But if you sit somewhere and just write generic ideas, it doesn't mean anything. The hurt is still there. The anger is still there. You haven't mitigated any of it.
You had earlier raised concerns about Professor Michael Quay leading this fact-finding committee to establish exactly what led to the party's defeat. Why is that?
Because he was part and parcel of the administration. Wasn't he the speaker earlier? He was the speaker. And the MPs complained that they don't want him anymore. The president should change him. He didn't. You know, he said that was the person he wanted. Even though you are not a parliamentarian, why should your ideas be paramount to that of parliament's ideas as to whom they want? So he kept him there, and when they were forced to vote, they voted against him. And that should have taught you a lesson. That he wasn't popular, so I should have changed him. You could have changed him to another person from your own party, but because he is stubborn, when he says something, he has to prevail, and that's what happened. So they voted him out. That is what happened. See, every time you talk, it comes back to Nanado. Every time you talk, it will go in so many different directions, and it comes back to Nanado. That's the unfortunate thing. Because he is the president, and he had a hold on the party. Everybody was looking for money. And if you got his ears, you don't have to fear anything. You can do whatever you want. This is what was going on. That man is arrogant, you see, he's arrogant, and in a lot of ways he's naive too. How do you go and erect a statue for yourself? Is that how it's done? Have you seen anybody doing that? You yourself erect a statue for yourself, congratulate yourself, how good you have become. Is that how it's done? No. But he's able to do that. There is no shame. And what happened to it? Now they tore it down. What's the point? What is the point? It's symptomatic of how he is. And he has done this over and over again in the party and brought the party into ruins, complete ruins. You see? I used to think maybe he was a 419 candidate. He didn't know much. Not coherent in anything.
So, but you're blaming the defeat of the party squarely on President Akufo-Addo?
On the president, yes.
I mean, the former president,
on the president, because everything that happened, he was in it. Look at Bamia's fate. 10 people running for flag bearer. 9 say let's go right, 1 say let's go left, and it's the one that you took. Why? Even though the 9 makes more sense. If you vote in one place, you can monitor all your happenings in the party and your people. It's cheaper, but no. Why did you pick the other one? That's more expensive. There is no reason for it except that this one said it, and it's not a better alternative. And yet that's what they ended up doing. I don't understand it. It means you are not using your brains. What? You do what you want, whether it makes sense or not does not matter. Because this one is the one who said it. It's not good at all. Do you think they are going to talk about this? Let's wait and see.
Well, but the former president that you blame squarely for the defeat of the party in the 2024 elections, he is at this said meeting where this committee report has been submitted. I mean, to what extent should he be involved in the entire reorganization?
He shouldn't. That's the whole thing. He shouldn't. He should sit aside and they do this work and find out what went wrong. You can give him one of the report to read, find out what happened. You know, he should sit aside. He shouldn't be in the forefront as if he is told the leader of the party. He is not. And I'm sorry, he brought this calamity on. He shouldn't still be inside. People are still afraid to speak up. The research says he is the cause of the party's defeat. You know, people started saying, when Nadu and some people went to a meeting, they started saying that, no, it is not that. No. The party presented the wrong candidate. You hear that? That's what they started saying. When the research shows that you are the responsible person, you are saying something else. How is it going to be resolved? How?
Well, but he's there. You don't want him there. But then again, if he has to be involved at all, to what extent? And what exactly is he supposed to do?
It should be courtesy. Let the people do it. Give him a copy. Let him look at it. He can ask questions. That's appropriate. But what does he know better than anybody else? What?
He's a former president. He's a former leader of the party. He's a former president, former leader of the party.
What leader? If he's a good leader, how come we are in this calamity? You tell me. Calamity. That's what we are. He is the one in charge that brought us here. It means he's not a good leader. So it's not important to say somebody is just a leader. Leader what? Leader who will lead you into the abyss is a good leader? No. And since he's done that, don't let him be in charge of anything. You can inform him of what is happening, but don't let him be in charge. It means he doesn't know much.
Well, but how about the national executives of the party as well? Some have asked that they should also be answering questions about the party's defeat. Well, they are still in office. They are the ones who even received this report and leading in the thinking process as well. What should they also be doing?
It shouldn't be that way either. The party has several people who are capable. You look around, they will come and do the work. Those who have been mentioned as being the cause of the failure should not be the same ones who are investigated. No. We should tell them what happened. You can call them and query them. Do you agree? Yes, I agree with this side. Let's find it because this so and so. This is being productive. But the same people who have brought the calamity are the ones who are going to investigate and then talk about the issues. Why? Do you think they will talk genuinely about it, responsibly? No. They won't. They are not going to blame themselves. This is what's going on. So already they are saying it's because of the wrong candidate that MPP lost, not because Nanado is the cause of it. Why? You went to election 3 times. Well, are you able to say such a thing? So the first time you lost, you were the wrong candidate? Or what about the second one? Very wrong candidate, and yet you won the 3rd time? What is
well, it is that same argument. It's that same argument that those who are also supporting Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia are making. That to the extent that Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo contested 3 times before becoming president of the Republic, that same fate can apply to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and so he should be retained as flag bearer for the 2028 elections.
Well, that's an argument that is not very airtight.
Why?
If there's a better candidate, why should you retain this one? The whole point is this. The candidate presents themselves, and then the people listen to what they are saying and all of that, and then vote for the best one in their opinion. That's it. That's how it should be. So it's an experiment. It's not pure science. You don't know what the person is going to do in different circumstances. But you take a chance, sometimes a leap of faith, and vote for him because he said this here, so you are transposing it to another place, and it works. But there is no science in this one. In his faith, you believe him, you trust him. And yet we talk about these things without such issues as trust and belief. If you have money, that's it. Well, how you got the money does not matter. You have money, pay the money. That's it. This is why nothing is working. Nothing. So the person who paid the most money has no sense. And he has come back to get his money back.
Well, you see, that's another recommendation. In fact, part of the mandate of this committee was to review and make recommendations on how the party's internal elections could be demonetized so that the influence of money would not be so prevalent and so upfront in the process of electing the flag bearer and the national executives of the party. Where you sit, what will be your recommendation in demonetizing the internal politics or elections of the MPP?
There are several processes. The United States does the same thing. The state I was in, Texas, Tennessee, they do the same thing. All the party members vote in the primary. You have to declare whether you are voting Republican or you are voting Democrat. That's the only requirement, because you cannot vote on both sides. If you vote one, your name is removed from the other one. So you don't think that it's a plus for you to vote on one side. It becomes a minus on the other side. And so you pick the party you are serious about to vote for. If you are Republican, then vote for the Republican candidate. That's it. This is done from time immemorial and it's working. Why can't we do the same? Why can't we do the same? Behave as if it's a terrible thing, very difficult. It isn't. You go and vote. The election official asks you, which side are you voting? You say Republican. Boom. That's the name that comes up. That's it. You can't vote against Democrats. And so this year, you decide to vote for Republican. It's up to you. You may be the one who is needed on the Democratic side to win. So all of this, it puts pressure on you to think properly before you decide how you are voting. That's all. There's no money involved. But we don't like that. No. We have to cajole people, threaten people, bribe people, you name it. That is how we are. It's almost as if we don't do those things, the thing hasn't gone right. There's something wrong. This is the problem. So the money keeps coming in all the time.
Well, as you speak, you talked about the fact that you don't even know the details of this said report. The conversation is ongoing at Lisa Hotel. Would you recommend that the details of this report be made public or known to at least members of the party and the general public, since the general public was also part of the caucus of people to be engaged or who have been engaged by this committee?
It should be made public. What is the point if it's a secret? What is the point? Those in the hinterland, how do they get to know what happened if you make it a secret? Why is it a secret? This is a public forum. Bring it out. This is what happened. I'm telling you, there's nothing new they are telling us in this report. People already know. We'll be talking about this in various different ways. So this is not a secret thing. Parties don't have, so to speak, real secret agendas. No. It should be public. If 3 people know, you bet it will come out. So let it come out. But be honest. That's the key thing. When you are honest, there's no secret. With few exceptions, there's no secret that people should know. And if you got rotten apples, get rid of them. That is what brings the party's reputation back up. If the rotten apples are left in there, you are just wasting your time.
Well, on that, the Director of Communications of the party, Richard Ahiagba, had an answer to the question of whether or not it should be made public. This is what he had to say to my colleagues.
We had a National Executive Committee meeting earlier and then transitioning into National Council meeting. The committee, the 2024 election, will present their report to National Council. That report, generally, we've accepted it, and a committee has been put together to work on some of the recommendations in that report going forward. So that's the report going forward. So that's the extent to which I can give you information right now. Because it's an internal document that will be used to aid the parties. There's a way our supporters will know about it without it being public. So it's a working document. So it's a working document. It's a document that the party is going to work to. Most of the recommendations there will be key.
Well, so it says that there's a way that the party's members will get to know without it being made public. So that's the answer to your concern or your question.
Is that an effective way, the most efficient way to do it? Is it? Something has gone wrong. The whole country knows something has gone wrong. You go to find out, you say it's a secret. What? You went to find a secret? No. Tell people, let them know. We did this, we did that. Drum it into their heads so they remember what went wrong. Don't do it again. You are making it a secret again. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. There shouldn't be a secret in a public affair like this, especially when something has gone wrong and you want to find out. You say it's a secret. What is a secret? Because some people in the party, big guys, who should not be in the forefront at this moment, are still in the forefront. Example is the president. If something is said against him that is not very, very flattering, to try to water it down. When they said 67% admitted that it was the cause of MPP's failure, he said, no, don't say it that way. Say majority admitted. What? This is what we're talking about. It means the corruption goes on. The corruption goes on, continues unabated. That's the problem. We say something in Chi. You messed it up. Instead of saying that, okay, sorry, I did it, I accept blame. No, you will not accept it. And then when we go to do the right thing, you want to still be in charge of it. Why? This is what is wrong with the party. And this culture has come up in the last 8 years.
Okay.
We see it will not work. It cannot work. If you have too many secrets in a political party, it won't work.
No. Well, Dr. Makuba, very briefly and quickly, now we know from Dr. Matipoku Prempe, at least for now, he says he is not going to contest the flag bearership ahead of the 2028 elections. That's not part of his immediate objective for now. He would rather focus on, efforts to unite the party and not necessarily contest as flag bearer. Just a quick one on that, briefly.
Well, it's a no-brainer because, look, if you have performed this abysmally, you shouldn't contest for anything unless you want to just waste your money. This is common sense. He's not saying anything new. This is common knowledge. Your party didn't do well, and they blame you partly for the failure. So why are you contesting anything? This is how I feel about it. This is common sense. You should look at the signs on the ground and inform himself.
Dr. Amakumba, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Edition.
Thank you. Albert, thank you.
Appreciate it. Dr. Amakumba is a political analyst, a member of the New Patriotic Party. And in fact, we're just getting information that this meeting has just ended. The General Secretary of the party, Justin Fiponkodia, is going to be addressing the press shortly. But this is what Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempe said regarding his ambitions ahead of election 2028. For now, he says he is not contesting, or he hasn't decided to contest for the party's flag bearership ahead of the 2028 elections. Is it a decision that's going to change along the way? Well, for now, this is the answer to the question.
People have made comments. Today is when the party is going to receive the report. And the party will act on the report, not on the comments people have made.
So for you are just going to obey whatever the report says?
If you don't want to obey what the report says, you don't want to be a member of the party. Because what is in you, a single person's mind or utterances, doesn't decide for the party. It's a good thing. So even though there are skeptics, there are cynics, doubters, all manner of people who say all manner of things. So even though the last time I checked, I haven't seen any candidate win 100%. Anybody. Have you? Then they have you.
I have.
You talk about your name being out there. Does that mean?
I didn't say that. Please. I said that if somebody who's a comedian is using my name and is filling calls, I'm very, very happy. I thank him because he's putting my name in there out for free. Right. But I'll let my lawyers write to him so we share the proceeds, the revenue, because I want to employ.
Have you decided what next to do in your political career? There are rumors you could be running.
My interest now immediate is to get a united party for a flag bearer.
But are you thinking about 2028?
Me personally?
Yes.
No, I'm not running 2028.
But would you like to run as vice presidential candidate?
That's Dr. Matthew Poko Prempe. So for now, this is the answer to that question of whether or not he's going to contest as flag bearer for the MPP in election 2028. He says he is not running for the 2028 flag bearership of the New Patriotic Party. This is an answer he gave earlier today. It's live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. And we're receiving a number of your comments on this particular one relating to the New Patriotic Party and the presentation of Professor Michael Quay's investigative committee report on exactly what led to the party's defeat in the 2024 general election. So stay with us. We'll read a few of your comments as we get through. We'll go back to Noble Crosby Annan as well, where this particular meeting is taking place. We understand that the General Secretary is about addressing the media right now. Noble Crosby Annan is going to be connecting with us on the telephone. We'll have a quick conversation with him and then also hear exactly what the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party is going to say regarding this report that has been submitted to the National Council of the party, and then also what the next steps forward would be regarding the implementation of the details of this committee report by Professor Michael Quay. We understand the minority leader, Alexander Apenyomaking, as well, is there, and he is also going to address the media shortly on the details of this said report and what the way forward is. While we wait to connect with Noble Crosby, and the Supreme Court has again adjourned an injunction application seeking to halt the impeachment proceedings against the Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo. When the case was called earlier today, only 4 justices appeared instead of the expected 5. Presiding over by Justice Henrietta Mensah-Bonsu, the court cited unavoidable circumstances and adjourned the hearing to May 6, 2025. This marks the second adjournment due to unforeseen issues. On April 9, 2025, the court postponed the case indefinitely after the Attorney General's office requested a delay, citing a conference in Accra. Meanwhile, the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine, says there's no law prohibiting the President from performing a constitutional duty. This was in response to suggestions by former Attorney General Godfrey Yeboah-Adame that President Mahama must suspend his consultation with the Council of State on whether a committee should be set up to look into petitions against the Chief Justice. 3 petitions, as Morale be aware, are currently before the President and the Council of State, all seeking the removal of the Chief Justice. Here's Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayine, addressing the media after the court hearing earlier today.
The injunction application.
No, it's not. The decision whether or not to hear the case is not mine to make. All right. And the reason why we were absent at the last agenda date was because we organized a training far ahead of the date that was given to us by the court. And the training was for all state attorneys, all right, by the ECOWAS Court of Justice. So they were being trained on the procedures and rules of the ECOWAS Court of Justice. And because of that, I was deeply involved in the training. My deputy was deeply involved in the training. The ECOWAS delegation that was doing the training was here in Accra. And we just asked for a date. Lawyers ask for this all the time when they are constrained and cannot be available in court. So for you to interpret that to mean that we are not willing, to go along with this process is totally unacceptable.
Well, so that's Dr. Dominic Ayene there also. But that's not all. The Minority Caucus in Parliament held a media briefing today condemning the attempts to remove the Chief Justice over what they described as frivolous petitions. Here's the legal counsel to the Minority Caucus, Member of Parliament for the Swami constituency, John Darko, speaking to the media earlier today.
Plans, and here I want to repeat again. We are aware of plans being hatched to invoke Article 14610A to suspend the CJ, to appoint somebody who is a known sympathizer of the current NDC government to act as the Chief Justice of the Republic. To you, this judge, and to all judges who entertain such desires, Justice Torkornoo's distraction should not be the grounds for your rising to the office of Chief Justice. To you, that judge, remember that you can rise together, but if you ride on the distraction of somebody to rise, remember that posterity will not be kind to you. To our development partners and foreign missions in the country, this is the time our country needs you most. The destruction of our judiciary will begin the end of our country's democratic experiments. Never in the history of this country, since Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah in the Autry case cited above, have we seen such naked attempt to subjugate the judiciary. To our revered traditional leaders and religious leaders, the time to call the president to advise him is now. The time to pray for our country's peace is now. We shouldn't wait until it's too late. And most importantly, to you, the people of Ghana, you are the fountains from which justice flows. You will see that from Article 125 of our Constitution. It says that justice emanates from the people and shall be administered in the name of the Republic by the judiciary, which shall be independent and subject only to the Constitution. And so to you, the people of Ghana, you are the one who can stop this naked usurpation of the judicial powers by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. You are the ones whose power is being taken away. You are the ones whose sweat and toil keep this nation running. And you are the one who will suffer most when this country is thrown into chaos, when this democratic experiment collapses. You are the one who must therefore rise up and say enough is enough. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen of the media, for listening to this call to the people of Ghana, the call to the foreign partners, the call to our traditional leaders, the call to civil society organizations in the country to rise up and speak against this usurpation of our judicial powers. Thank you very much.
That's the Minority Caucus there addressing the press on this particular one. And quickly, let's get on to Zoom right now. And Martin Pebo is private legal practitioner, and he's been following this case quite closely. Counsel, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Hot Edition.
On this report at the right time, when they want to.
Evening,
party members from the top to the bottom. There's nobody.
Hello. Hello, Counsel.
Kenneth,
hello, lawyer.
Yes.
We'll rectify the connection to Martin Pebo shortly, and we'll get some details on his reaction and position to this particular development with the press conference by the minority in Parliament. But you're still live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, and also on W93.5 in Y and beyond. Counsel, gonna hear me? Hello? we'll try to raise multiple people back on the telephone and get a bit more into this. But this is Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Keep your thoughts, views, comments, and opinions coming through. Right out to you and to the rest of the world. Some 13 minutes to the top of the hour, 6 p.m. And the minority earlier today addressed the media on what they say is the frivolous petitions and attempt to have the Chief Justice removed, the legal counsel to the minority caucus and the Member of Parliament for the Swame constituency, John Dako, addressed the media earlier today and then also pulled out the position by the minority in a particular issue. We'll get into that shortly and get a bit more onto us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. But this is what the Attorney General said in respect to President Mahama's engagement with the Council of State.
No, it's not. The decision whether or not to hear the case is not mine to make. All right. And the reason why we were absent at the last agenda was because we organized a training far ahead of the date that was given to us by the court. And the training was for all state attorneys, right, by the ECOWAS Court of Justice. So they were being trained on the procedures and rules of the ECOWAS Court of Justice. And because of that, I was deeply involved in the training. My deputy was deeply involved in the training. The ECOWAS delegation that was doing the training was here in Accra. And we just asked for a date. Lawyers ask for this all the time when they are constrained and cannot be available in court. So
let's get on to Zoom now, and Martin People is private legal practitioner joining us. Let's hope we have a clear connection to him. Counsel, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Ocansey.
Perfect. Appreciate your time. And you had a minority there, and let's start off from this point. Does it raise any concern for you in any way that for the second time this case has been adjourned, but this time around it is because one of the judges was absent from this, and we've seen another adjournment again?
Well, to be honest, I don't have enough facts to say I'm concerned. Yeah. Because what happens is that it's regular. It happens that the cases get adjourned, sometimes because a lawyer is absent or a judge is absent. So for now, it's not easy to take a position that two adjournments to raise a concern. And we're taking it in our social and legal context here. It's normal. I know elsewhere it would have been, you wouldn't even contemplate such an adjournment. But ours, let's just say that we are growing. So, sometimes we accommodate these adjournments.
And that's just to respond to some of the comments that have been coming up, after today's adjournment, and I think that this position espoused is quite clear. But you hear the minority also indicates that to the extent that they have information that Article 14610A is going to be triggered for the Chief Justice to be suspended while this process is ongoing, for them is an attempt to sacrifice the fabric of our justice system on the altar of politics. Does this position have any merit at all?
No, the position cannot have merit at all. It cannot when they have not shown the basis. Right now, as we all speak, well, I hear certain persons say they've seen the petitions. I haven't, right? So, excuse me, without the evidence, how can a reasonable person be heard to say that this is an interference in the judiciary, etc.? No, we all don't have, well, as I said, I haven't seen the evidence. So once the minority I don't know if they want to say they've seen it, which would then raise other questions as to how did they see it. Because, under Article 146, the petitions are to be kept secret by the whole process. So once you don't have the evidence, it's difficult to speak on this matter to say that, somebody is wrong and the other person is right. But, I mean, we all know that, look, going into the next constitution, the new constitution we have, and I've been saying it every Saturday. So for Ekufu says, and I agree, that the president should not have the responsibility of choosing Supreme Court justices and indeed all the Superior Court justices, and should not have a role to play in the discipline of judges. The current Chief Justice made the same statement in her vetting. But right now, the current constitution we have, that responsibility is in there. So there isn't much that we can do. You said. But as we sit now, bottom line is that I haven't seen it. The minority, if they've even seen it, they cannot come out publicly to say so. And so it's difficult to lash out at the system when you cannot show us the basis for saying so.
As they describe the petitions as frivolous. That to that extent, would you say there's an indication maybe they have details you and I don't have?
It's possible. Yes, and I'm emphasizing the word possible, because if they haven't seen the petitions, on what basis will they be using the words frivolous? I think, you see, sometimes we need to draw a line. If we want to politicize everything, then there will be nothing for the state, because these petitions are meant to be kept secret. So now that the minority is making such statements, we can only assume that they have seen the petitions. And if that has happened, then you know that it's going to open the floodgates for other people to also now come and respond that they have read the petitions and the petitions are watertight. That's what the minority is inviting. Trust me, in a day or two, you are likely to see people who have also seen the petitions now come and give us a different version. It's not healthy for our democracy. No. This path is very slippery, because when you do this, you're going to, they are daring the petitioners and other people in the system to leak the petitions. Yes, I don't think Lawyer Dapo should have done that. No, it's not healthy. For a lawyer, he should have been more circumspect. I mean, you can speak generally that, the president should use the rule of law, etc. You remember, even myself, I don't know if it's on a platform or somewhere, but I've granted interviews on this matter where I said, yes, in the Judicial versus Attorney General, the Supreme Court even said that the Council of State should get a reputable independent lawyer to help the Council of State. Not that there are no lawyers there. Our beloved Sofa Ekufu is on the Council of State, etc. But the Supreme Court still thought that they should get an independent lawyer, more independent. That's not to say that Sofa Ekufu is not independent. We all know her. And you know how even people have appealed to her, that just as she dealt with Ekufu-Addo for bad governance, she should use the same strength to stand up to President Mahama. If the petitions are not good, she should do so. And it's her own relation, Kwame Ekufu, lawyer Kwame Ekufu, who wrote her the open letter. We know all that, but the Supreme Court still said to give further credibility to the process, the Council of State should get an independent lawyer. So we are all supporting all of this to make sure that the process is very credible. But for Lawyer Daku to now come and say the petitions are frivolous, I mean, it's very bad. I think he should come again. It's not everything that we should politicize, because he's drawn first blood, and it's to be expected that people on the other side will also counter him. And then you see the slippery slope will all be taken down. It's terrible. It's terrible. I think we have to condemn Lawyer Dapo's actions. Yes, it's not allowed in a democracy. As a lawyer, he should be slow to do such a thing.
I see, but to the extent that the minority is convinced that they have concerns about this process and how it's been employed, how should they air it? If what Lawyer Dapo did was wrong, as you're saying. Hello, Counsel. Hello.
right now as we speak.
Yeah, Council, I lost you
Let's
briefly.
say you've seen the petition.
I lost you briefly. I lost you briefly. So if you could just backtrack a bit for me. I was saying that if the minority believe that how things are playing out is wrong, how should they put it out? If how Lawyer Dako did it was wrong, as you're saying.
It's an open door policy. Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly now.
Yes, I said generally, we all know that in terms of reputation,
Hello?
If they've seen the petition privately and there are issues with it, they should seek audience with the president privately. Yes, there are people who are
Hello, lawyer.
They genuinely think that the petition is frivolous. They should seek to see him privately, right? Yes, but to come out the moment.
Right. Unfortunately, we're having a little cranky connection to Lawyer Martin.
Counteracts.
Right.
This is needless.
Lawyer, I do appreciate your time on this matter, and as always, I thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Martin Pebo is private legal practitioner joining us with his thoughts on this. But still live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesme 107.1 and on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. We're back with the business news. Michael Obodo is standing by.
I wake up early every weekday because of you, to keep you on top of your game. Yeah!
You are at the center of our universe. That's why we make it a duty to serve you only the freshest, hottest news and entertainment. When you want it, where you want it.
Good morning, Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the wonderful world. Welcome to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Start your day well informed. Start with us on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Catch the all-new Sunrise Morning Show on 3FM 92.7 with me, Johnny Hughes, Helen Apiambofo. Weekdays from 5:55 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on 3FM 92.7.
3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
And hello there, good evening and welcome to the business segment on Hot Edition. Coming up tonight, commuters push for transport fares reduction following continuous decline in fuel prices. I am Michael Obodu. Details coming up shortly. Please don't go anywhere. And thank you so much for staying with us. Straight into our top story. Commuters are calling for a reduction in transport fares following continuous decline in fuel prices at the pumps. Pump prices have seen marginal reductions in the last 5 windows, with the last one seeing about 1.5% dip in petrol prices and 0.3% for both diesel and LPG. Analysts cite a decline in global crude prices as well as relative stability of the cedi, particularly against the US dollar.
Prices has been reduced. So why won't transport operators also reduce their prices? Why are they still keeping up to their price range? Why? They should reduce it because it has been reduced, so they should reduce it. Else they're being selfish.
When you put it on the normal scale, when the thing has gone up, you can increase. But when it comes down, definitely you have to reduce your prices. But you know, drivers and all those people are living around this country. Sometimes they do their own thing and there is no proper measures to check them. So they do whatever they want.
Transport is one of the big issues that we face in this country. So I think if it is being reduced, it will go a long way to help us, our mothers, and we the youth as well.
They have to reduce the fare. Since the fuel have come down, everything have to come down too. But if the fuel go up, everything have to increase too. That one there.
I think the best thing is to have competition. I mean, if government was having this would be solved easily. If you don't reduce it, we'll just go with the cheaper option. That's just about it. It's not really a difficult thing, honestly. Just straightforward.
You hear that some commuters pushing for fare cuts as fuel prices fall. Now, the Ghana Export Promotion Authority says it is pursuing measures to exceed its almost $4 billion revenue from non-traditional exports in 2023. As part of the government's Accelerated Export Development Program, GEPA is considering the establishment of more export houses globally to improve market access for Ghanaian products. President John Mahama had noted that the Accelerated Export Development Program will complement the 24-hour economy plan aimed at boosting economic activity and job creation. GEPA says improving Ghana's export capacity is central to building a resilient and competitive economy.
If we are able to expand the Ghana trade houses in all the African countries and the Europe and America, we are able to, our presence will be felt in a lot of countries, and by so doing we are exporting to all these countries, increasing the number of exports. The president has assured that he's going to create a business environment for us to be able to export more, and that leads to the Accelerated Development Program.
The authority adds that steps are being taken to ensure that goods from Ghana meet global standards in order to enhance the country's export performance.
To help facilitate these exports, that is why we are doing this GEPA Export School for potential exporters and entrepreneurs, so that they can have a very good training, a very good base for these exports to go on.
So you heard the Deputy CEO of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Ambrose Nsako, speaking there. Now, the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Anthony Kwesi Sapong, has disclosed that the authority has commenced processes to enroll on all online businesses operating in the country in the tax net. He highlights that businesses are now moving from brick-and-mortar stores, hence the need for the authority to turn attention to that sector.
Businesses, instead of doing brick and mortar, are running businesses on the digital platforms where buyers and sellers do their trading. Second, we do have many businesses which are also showing up in other online places. And in Ghana today, for example, if you want to find several service providers, you go to Instagram and you find them. How do we ensure that all of these people who are doing businesses, not in the physical brick and mortar but online, are able to come onto the tax net? And GRA, we have already commenced a program to bring on board the digital economy, because it is the business of the future. And if it is the business of the future, then the revenue for the future resides there. So we are looking at all of these areas to ensure that we at par or exceed in terms of knowledge of the taxpayer, and be able to bring them together into the tax net.
And that was the Acting Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Anthony Kwesi Sapong, speaking there, bringing an end to Business Daily, the business segment here on Hot Edition. For more business stories, please check out our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe. Up next is sports, and they're bringing you the latest soon. Stay tuned.
Accra, Ghana, Africa, and worldwide. Join us on Inspirational Gospel Mix this and every Sunday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m.
What is your favorite scripture?
Well, my favorite scripture is Romans 8:28, and it says, all things work together for the good to them that love the Lord. Kwame, that is absolutely my favorite scripture.
Yes, your Inspirational Gospel Mix, a moment to get inspired with the best of inspirational songs and interviews to get you prepared for the new week. Every Sunday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. with me, your big brother, Kwame Adu, mixing G, mixing gospel. You can't miss it. You are blessed as you listen. 3FM 92.7.
I wake up early every weekday because of you, to keep you on top of your game. Yeah!
You are at the center of our universe. That's why we make it a duty to serve you only the freshest, hottest news and entertainment. When you want it, where you want it.
Good morning, Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the wonderful world. Welcome to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Start your day well informed. Start with us on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Catch the all-new Sunrise Morning Show on 3FM 92.7 with me, Johnny Hughes, Helena Piampofo. Weekdays from 5:55 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on 3FM 92.7.
3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7 with me, Oreku Ampofo. Ghana Football Association President Kurt Okraku has issued a straight rebuke of some Ghanaian journalist after he claimed sections of the media published lies about the association. Okraku, who has been upset about claims about the FA's use of FIFA fund money to finance purchase of second-hand buses, and says that his association would not allow any lies to thrive under his administration.
The pickup trucks that you see here today didn't come for free. The pickups indeed cost us money. The 8 pickups you see here today cost us $262,224 US. I hope I got it right. This is how FIFA forward money is. FIFA forward money comes in a straight jacket. FIFA forward money is not used to buy second-hand cars. FIFA forward money is not used to buy hidden mattresses. FIFA forward money is not hidden money. And it's important my colleagues in the media do learn what we mean by FIFA forward money. It's important people learn how to report the truth. I've always said that truth would always win the battle. If you lie, lies will come after you.
And so that was President of the Ghana Football Association, Kurt Okraku. But let's move on to some other stories where Desmond Ofer, who is the head coach of the Black Satellites, has been speaking exclusively to 3 Sports ahead of the African Under-20 competition, which is due to take place in Egypt. Now, Ofer says that the team's preparation have been rocked by the change in venue, but is confident that the Black Satellites can still cope.
It's quite tough. It's been quite tough, but luckily, like I said, we started in February with the local boys. It was really good for us to also give opportunity to a lot of the talented boys here in the country. And we assessed over 78 players, combination of Premier and Division 1, and the remaining players, additional maybe 25 players that came from lower divisions and also academies. Try to give the boys that went to Togo an opportunity to reclaim their spots. And in the end, I think we trickle down to how the squad look like now is almost 50-50. 50% of players that are in the current league, Premier League, Division 1, and 1 or 2 from Division 2. And then the old boys that travelled last summer, maybe even in January, to come and complete the squad to make it 21 players, yeah.
So that was Desmond Ofai speaking of the impact of, the venue being changed from Ivory Coast to Egypt in the final weeks leading to the Under-20 tournament. But let's do Ghana Premier League because there was outstanding matchday action on Wednesday afternoon. Accra Lions being the pick out of the result as they beat Asante Kotoko by 3-0 to put a massive dent in the Porcupine Warriors title hopes. And then the Diana Stars also did similar to Hartlepool, beating them by 2-0. BBNE Gold Stars further tightened their grip at the top of the table after a 2-0 away win at Bechem against Bechem United. House of Lions also needed to grind out a 1-0 victory over Mediama. Holy Stars Basake also won at home by a similar goal line against Visions FC. By default, Legon Cities beating Sachaman by 3-0 because the latter have pulled out of the league. Nations FC were 1-0 victors against Informed Dreams FC. Samatex were 2-0 winners at home against Kerala United, and Young Apostles needed an extremely late penalty from Emmanuel Che in the 94th minute to beat Berkum Chelsea by 2-1. With regards to how things look like on the table, with just 7 games to go in the Ghana Premier League season, BBNE Gold Stars are top with 50 points. Nations come second with 48, and Asante Kotoko are currently third with 47. Accra Lions, courtesy of the 3-0 win over Asante Kotoko, have climbed out of the bottom 3 and are now 14th, just above Vision FC, who are 15th on goal difference. The bottom 3 now looks like Sachaman bottom with 15, Legon Cities, they are 17th with 25 points, and then Kerala are 16th with 28 points. You can get more reactions from the Ghana Premier League on our social media handles at 3SportsGH. However, let's switch our attention now to Europe, where Real Madrid must produce yet another one of those stunning European comebacks that they are noted for if they are to stand any chance of going through to the semi-finals of this season's Champions League. Upcoming is a stern test against an Arsenal side who they trail by 3-0, with the second leg to be played at the Bernabeu later tonight. Midfielder Jude Bellingham says that they do believe that the comeback is genuinely on.
I'd like to ask you about the most repeated word in the changing room during these days.
Remontada. Honestly, I've heard it about 1 million times since last week. I've seen 1 million videos online and made by fans, made by kind of you guys, I suppose, and really motivating stuff. It's a night that's made for Real Madrid, a night that would go down in history, but also be something that people are familiar with around this part of the world. So hopefully we can add another special night. It's a weird environment at the minute. The last few days, it's like one of the worst results we could possibly imagine away, and for some reason everyone thinks it's nailed on that we'll come back, and it's a nice feeling, I have to say. It means there's a lot of trust in the talent. It means that you're at a club that's unlike no other, the best in the world. That's what it represents and signifies to me. So there's a pressure that comes along with that for sure, and we'll want to deliver on what everyone thinks, that we can come back, and there's an expectation from Real Madrid that when we get into these kind of holes that we can come back, even if it's a really, really tough one and a really difficult one.
Well, the pressure would be on Arsenal as they head to a closed Bernabeu roof with the match set to kick off in just over 45 minutes' time. Our Ghanaian midfielder Thomas Partey says that he is proud of the progress that the team has made so far and is looking forward to finishing the job in Spain.
I think it's a beautiful moment, and then a moment movement that every player wants to, be part of, and I'm really happy to be part of it. And I'm really happy to be, in the team and also to help the team. So I think with this confidence, every player have the same confidence, and we are going to go there with that confidence.
Tom, last one, please.
Well, I think with all the, circumstances that we face in most of our games, and then we are still, at that level, I'm really happy with the team.
So that was Thomas Partey, who shook off a knock that he picked up against Brentford and is in the starting 11 for Arsenal. Let's just quickly go through that as well. But before that, let's check out Real Madrid starting 11. Thibaut Courtois in goal. Lucas Vazquez comes in at right back. Partners Asensio, Rudiger and Alaba in the back four. In midfield, Fede Valverde returns to the midfield and would be alongside Tchouaméni and Bellingham. Tchouaméni returning from suspension after missing the first leg, and as the usual front three of Rodrigo, Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. For Arsenal is more of the same from the first leg. Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Kyrgios and Luis Kelly start as the defensive pairing, and then Odegaard, Partey, Rice in midfield. Up front is Merino, flanked by Bukayo Saka and Martinelli. You can get updates of this game and the one between Bayern and Inter Milan also on our social media handles. That's at 3 Sports GHR. But before we go, let's just get some more reaction ahead of the Champions League game, because CEO of Back Group and sports analyst Dr. Ennis Cranton has cautioned the Gunners against Real Madrid's threats despite Arsenal's commanding first leg advantage. Now, he was speaking on Sports Station on TV3.
They've got to ensure that they don't concede in the first half, because if Real Madrid score one in the first half, it is going to be a more difficult game than anyone envisages, because then it gives them that momentum and then they will go. These are guys who can easily draw on the experiences of playing at this level, coming from behind 5 minutes to end the game. You remember the City game, they were down 1-0 and it looked like it was all done. Then from 89th minute, they began to score and scored 3 goals to turn the tie around. They've done it before, so they can do it again. And many of those players back then are still in the team. So they have every right to feel the way they are feeling. But in all honesty, they are not as good. Not because they are not technically good, but the team as a whole hasn't been great this season compared to the things they did last season. I won't be surprised if Arsenal nick it. But I'll also not be surprised if Real Madrid turn it around. They can do it.
Sports journalist Michael Otieje also says that the tie is far from over.
Arsenal has not conceded more than 2 goals in a match in over a year.
Wow.
That's brilliant consistency. That's a certain pace. But we said a lot of these statistics before Man City played Real Madrid. You never thought that they would give up goals in the manner that they did. If any team, so my take on it is, if any club has the capacity to overturn a 3-0 deficit in the Champions League, it is Real Madrid. Of course, if they score early in the first half, that's great. But this is Real Madrid. They score early in the second half. They get another goal by 70th or 80th minute. They will score. And I like something Tony Kroos said. He said, they've got to score early to remind the Arsenal players that this is far from over. Don't get them too comfortable. It is the deliberate attempt to put it out there. But what Arsenal have done and what Arsenal did at the Emirates is one of the most brilliant execution by any football team that I have seen.
And that's Michael Otieje bringing an end to the sports segment here on Hot Edition. As I mentioned earlier, you can get updates on the games between PSG, between Real Madrid and Arsenal, and then Bayern Munich and Inter Milan in the Champions League on our social media for live text commentary and also for fan reactions across Accra. My name is Oreo Kwampofo, and Hot Edition continues right after this.
early every weekday because of you, to keep you on top of your game. Yeah!
You are at the center of our universe. That's why we make it a duty to serve you only the freshest, hottest news and entertainment. When you want it, where you want it.
Good morning, Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the wonderful world. Welcome to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Start your day well informed. Start with us on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Catch the all-new Sunrise Morning Show on 3FM 92.7 with me, Johnny Hughes, Helen Apiampofo. Weekdays from 5:55 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on 3FM 92.7.
3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Hello, Ghana. It's a new year and Bills Microcredit is here to support your dreams. If you're not working but want to start a business, don't let money stop you. With just your Ghana card, you can get a loan to turn your ideas into reality. Already running a business? Need more capital? Or are you a salary worker looking for extra funds? Bills offers fast and easy loans with no collateral, no deposit, and no SUSI savings required. Wherever you are, whatever you need, Bills makes it happen. Call Bills Microcredit today. Call 0596 920 833 or 0302 200 390 and get started. Bills is licensed and regulated by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
I wake up early every weekday because of you, to keep you on top of your game. Yeah!
You are at the center of our universe. That's why we make it a duty to serve you only the freshest, hottest news and entertainment. When you want it, where you want it.
Good morning, Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the wonderful world. Welcome to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Start your day well informed. Start with us on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Catch the all-new Sunrise Morning Show on 3FM 92.7 with me, Johnny Hughes, Helen Apiampofo. Weekdays from 5:55 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on 3FM 92.7.
3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also on Kesmi 107.1 and on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. Let's go back to the new patriotic party. That's the National Council meeting ongoing at the Alisa Hotel. We understand that the party's General Secretary and also the minority leader have been addressing the press earlier just this evening, and Noble Crosby-Nunn is there for us, going to be connecting with us live right now to get some more details on this particular development here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesmi 107.1 and on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. That's information coming through right now. The new Patriotic Party have constituted a 9-member committee to look into the recommendations that have been put forward by the Professor Mike Okoye-led investigative committee on some constitutional reforms that they want the party to undertake. So that is the information that we are getting right now here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. Let's hear from the General Secretary of the party right now.
What transpired at NEC and National Council. If you recall, somewhere in January, National Council had an emergency meeting And at the emergency meeting, the council set up a review committee to do a postmortem of the 2024 elections. And today, the committee led by Reverend Professor Akrofi submitted their report to National Council. National Council accepted the report, but there are several steps that we need to take as a party. As we receive the report today, we need to sit down and deliberate on the report. And key among the discussions that we had at National Council, and also based on the summary evening presentation that was done by Professor Akrofi, there will be a need for some constitutional amendment. So based on that, the National Council has constituted a 9-member committee to look at Professor Akrofi's report, particularly emphasis on where issues of proposals or amendment has to be made to our constitution. We want to let the media and the good people of Ghana know that we have just received the report today. We are yet to go into the details of what is entailed in the report. In the coming days, whatever we have to bring out to discuss or to communicate to our supporters or our members, the rank and file of our party, we do so. But we want to caution members of our party not to be in the haste to say things which are not even in the report. And for people to make several assumptions, to even make accusations and counter-accusations on social media, in the media. There's only one report, and that report is with National Council. As to what transpired at NEC and National Council, if you recall, somewhere in January, National Council had an emergency meeting, and at the emergency meeting, the council set up a review committee to do a postmortem of the 2024 elections. And today, the committee led by Reverend Professor Akrofi submitted their report to National Council. National Council accepted the report, but there are several steps that we need to take as a party. As we receive the report today, we need to sit down and deliberate on the report. And key among the discussions that we had at National Council, and also based on the summary evening presentation that was done by Professor Akrofi, there will be a need for some constitutional amendment. So based on that, the National Council has constituted a 9-member committee to look at Professor Akrofi's report, particularly emphasis on where issues of proposals or amendment has to be made to our constitution. We want to let the media and the good people of Ghana know that we have just received the report today. We are yet to go into the details of what is entailed in the report. In the coming days, whatever we have to bring out to discuss or to communicate to our supporters or our members, the rank and file of our party, we do so. But we want to caution members of our party not to be in a haste to say things which are not even in the report. And for people to make several assumptions, to even make accusations and counter-accusations on social media, in the media. There's only one report, and that report is with National Council.
That's Justin Kodia Frimpong there. He is the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, talking to the media earlier, and this is one that will keep the steam on here on 3F 92.7, also on TV3. Join me at 10 p.m. for Ghana tonight. We're going to have an extensive conversation on this development in the New Patriotic Party and also matters arising going forward. We'll sink our teeth into what happened at the Supreme Court earlier today and the minorities press conference on the Chief Justice's petitions and matters arising. So make a date with me at 10 p.m. on TV3 for Ghana tonight. On behalf of the rest of the team here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, we do appreciate your company. The drive continues. DJ ABM is standing by.